For years, my wife Melinda and I were caught up in a tornado of nonstop action. Jobs, home-building headaches, and big career goals kept us on our toes. Somehow, we found a weird kind of peace in all that mess. Sure, we'd bicker, usually about dumb stuff like calendars or what's next for us, but it never felt like those spats could break us. I figured we were tough enough to tackle whatever life chucked our way. Looking back now, though, I can spot the early cracks. Little shifts in how we acted, quiet strains we didn't talk about, and this growing gap between us started standing out. Our chats got awkward, our time tangled up together got rare, and I could sense Melinda drifting off. Never in a million years did I think those small hiccups would snowball into a gut punch of a truth that's flipped my whole life upside down. I bolted awake, the clock glowing 2:40 a.m. My shirt clung to me, drenched in sweat, like it always was after that damn dream hit again. This time, I kept my mouth shut. Melinda was still snoozing next to me. That dream never changed, a twisted rerun of something from 2 years back. In it, I'd be hunched over my desk, a bottle of bourbon sitting there with an empty glass and a gun. I'd slug back the drink without even tasting it, spin the revolver's chamber to make sure it was ready, and growl some dark promises about getting even. Lucky for me, those nightmares were thinning out, down to once every few months now. They still felt so real, but they weren't the truth. Yeah, there was a bottle of rye involved back then, but I was sprawled out cold on the couch, no gun in sight. To figure out how it all went south, I've got to rewind a few years. 2005 was a rough one. It kicked off with Melinda and me going toe-to-toe with city folks in Raleigh over our new house plans. After a slew of nope on the permits, we finally got the green light in August. But then our contractor turned into another headache. On top of that, we were both neck-deep in work. I was 31, pulling lead investigator duty at Piedmont Integrity Solutions, a gig chasing down insurance scams. The pay was solid, and I could pick my cases or hand them off. By then, a few silver strands were sneaking into my hair. Folks said I had swagger, but I was just a guy, 6 feet 4 inches, 190 pounds, with a nose that took a college boxing hit the wrong way. Melinda, 30, was a knockout, long chestnut hair, hazel eyes that popped, slim and sporty. She ran the numbers crew at Triad Dynamics, a company riding high with fat bonuses coming her way. But early that year, things shook up at her office in Charlotte when the old boss got swapped out for Victor Ramsey. That's when the tide started turning. Victor was a short guy, maybe 5 feet 5 inches, carrying extra weight, with a bald dome fringed by a thin halo of hair. Melinda swore he was a decent manager, and when I met him, he seemed alright, friendly enough. Around the same time, Triad hauled in a new VP, Trent Carver, straight from Seattle. Trent was about 50, fit, and had that slick vibe, like he'd chase anything in a skirt, married or not. I pegged him as trouble, but Melinda couldn't stop raving about his genius plans to juice up the business. By summer, our house in Asheville was finally coming together, and things at Triad had calmed down. Melinda said Trent's ideas were paying off. We moved into the new place just outside town in September and fell hard for it. I grinned at her one day and said, "How about we christen every room in this house, huh?" She grabbed my hand with a smirk. "Kitchens first," she teased. What went down next was electric, hands roaming, breaths hitching, a wild dance of closeness that didn't need words. We didn't hit every room, but the bedroom stayed our sweet spot, even with our crazy schedules. Still, between work and settling in, that's where our moments got boxed in, nighttime, sheets, and not much else. One evening, I tossed out an idea. "Hey, maybe it's time to ditch the pills and start working on a kid." Melinda paused. "I'd rather hold off," she said. "Trent thinks I should wait till next year, promotion's on the horizon." "Trent?" I shot back, a little ticked. "Yeah, Trent Carver," she said, shrugging. "He asked if we were planning a family. I told him our rough timeline, and he said waiting till after the promotion makes sense." I wasn't thrilled about some suit weighing in on our life, but I grumbled an okay. By year's end, work had us both slammed. Weekends were supposed to be ours, but they kept slipping away. Her team was chasing a huge merger, and I was juggling cases left and right. Late November finally gave us a breather. We hit the shops for Christmas stuff, and over dinner, Melinda dropped some news. "We're locking in a merger with Apex Meds by December 15th, promotion's looking good." "That's awesome," I said, pumped for her. "So, baby time soon?" "Not quite," she replied. Still on the pill, want to get comfy in the new gig before maternity leave. I got it, but it stung a little. Trying to keep it light, I chuckled, should I grab some Apex Med stock? She laughed hard. No way, that's insider trading, and we'd be toast. Relax, I'm joking, I said. I'd never mess with that. I know, she said, her voice softening. I'm just edgy, this deal's so close, and I don't want it to blow up. December rolled in, and company holiday parties fired up. Ours at Piedmont Integrity was on Friday the 8th, a chill night, maybe 50 people total, counting staff and their plus ones. Drinks flowed, appetizers passed around, then dinner and some swaying on the dance floor. Most of us field guys didn't cross paths much, so it wasn't exactly a tight crew, kept the vibe low-key. I was chilling with my buddy Derek Vance and his wife Tara at the company party. Melinda and I had a decent time, even though the whole thing was pretty laid back. We stuck around till midnight before heading back to our place in Asheville. Once we got home, I tugged Melinda toward the bedroom, planted a kiss on her, and things sparked up fast. She caught me off guard with some wild moves I hadn't seen before, threw me for a loop, but damn, it worked me up. After, she slipped off to the bathroom, tossing a playful jab over her shoulder about hitting up more rooms in the house later. Next day, though, the vibe flipped. I worked a half shift, and when I rolled in, Melinda was glued to the window, staring off like she was lost. She looked rattled and didn't even twitch when I said hey. I figured I'd let her breathe, so I held off till after dinner to dig in. She cooked up some grub, I handled the dishes, our usual deal. Once I was done, I plopped down next to her in the living room. Melinda, what's eating you? Anything I can do? I asked. She finally cracked open, saying the Apex Meds deal was hitting snags. The big boss, Mr. Caldwell, was throwing curveballs with crazy demands, and if they didn't cave, the whole thing might tank. She was freaking out, convinced her job was on the line if it fell apart. I tried to talk her down, but she was dead set that any mess up would land square on her shoulders. Couldn't spill more, though, company secrets and all. She shut it down hard, insisting she'd sort it solo. The next day, she pulled even further away, barely a word. Monday morning, she bolted for work early, muttering about big meetings. After she split, I hauled out the trash. Something clinked out of the bathroom bin and vanished under the counter. I poked around for a sec but gave up, finished the chore, and got on with my day. Back inside, I scanned the kitchen floor again for whatever dropped, nothing. I hit the shower and geared up for work. By Monday night, Melinda's mood was still in the gutter. Things any better at the office? I nudged, keeping it soft. Can't talk about it, she snapped, stress dripping off her. I'll figure it out. Wednesday, though, she perked up a bit, greeted me with a kiss and a quiet I love you, first time since Friday. She wasn't all the way back, but that far-off look had faded. Can you clue me in now? I asked, treading light. Not supposed to, she said, but we found a fix for Mr. Caldwell. Trent reckons it'll hold. Her voice had some relief, but tension still clung, no smile. I figured she was still wound tight, but maybe it'd ease up soon. It bugged me, though, her calling Trent while Victor Ramsey stayed Mr. Ramsey. Why the difference? That night, she wanted me to just hold her in bed, no action. I could feel her job crap weighing us down. After she conked out, I squirmed around for 20 minutes before shuffling to the kitchen for a glass of water. That's when I spotted her briefcase on a chair. Never snooped before, but curiosity won. It wasn't locked, so I popped it open. Most of the papers were gibberish to me, but then I hit her planner. She had a stack of meetings lined up with Ramsey, Carver, and even one with Caldwell. Why the hell was an accounting gal meeting a client? Flipping through, I saw she'd number days from December 2th to the 15th circled big. Was it their holiday bash or the Apex deal closing? Either way, the 15th was the day. I slid the planner back, set the briefcase where it was, and let it go. Over the next few days, Melinda's spirits lifted, but she still felt miles away. Using my investigator chops, I pinned the 15th as the make or break for Apex Med's signing with Triad Dynamics, probably that Friday. On the 10th, I wrapped one of my 3 cases and was close to nailing another. That night, I grabbed a beer with Derek to toast the win. After a couple, I tossed out a vague riddle about the numbered days up to the 15th, circled and underlined, without saying it was Melinda's. Derek couldn't crack it but said, ask Lena Torres, one of our lady investigators, she'd see it differently. Smart call, a woman's take might help. We let it drop, and later Derek cracked up, saying if I ever launched my own shop, he'd want in. You'd be my first call, I chuckled back. That weekend sucked. Melinda was sweet enough, but no bedroom action, which was starting to grind my gears. Not just the lack of heat, but I couldn't figure out why she was off. Monday, I told her I'd be stuck late all week closing cases. Not Friday, though, she cut in. Home by 7:30 for the party. I nodded, but by midweek, I was getting pissed. Tuesday, I sealed my second case, and we hit a restaurant to celebrate. After, she claimed she felt off, no closeness again. Same deal Wednesday. I knew she was stressed, but I was hitting my breaking point. I kept telling myself Friday would fix it. Once Apex Meds was locked in, we'd snap back. Thursday, I was inches from closing my last case and warned Melinda I might not make 7:30. Melinda was steamed. You swore you'd be home, she snapped. I know, babe, and I'm sorry, I said, trying to cool her down. This case is so close to done, I'll wrap it and meet you at the party by 9:30 if I'm late. Go ahead without me. She wasn't happy but nodded, grumbling she didn't want to roll solo. Friday morning, I caught a break on my gig, tracking down jewelry worth over $1 million that some punk stole. The guy was dumb enough to offer it back for $350,000, saving Piedmont Integrity Solutions a fat $650,000. I'd finally earned his trust, so I set up a swap. Headed to the insurance office to grab the cash. Big stacks like that mean paperwork out the wazoo, but I'd already ID'd the thief. Tailed him that morning to a diner in Asheville, called to lock in the afternoon meeting, then followed him to a beat-up garage. He popped his trunk, scoped the place, and split empty-handed. Once he was dust, I smashed the padlock with a crowbar, peeked inside, and bam, there it was, stuffed in a duffel bag. I scribbled a note, nice try, pal, locked it back up, and hauled the goods to my office. Phoned the insurance folks to come snag it. Felt like a champ, screwed the crook, saved the company a pile, and got the bling back to its owners. After, I ran into Lena Torres, one of our investigators, and asked her to grab a bite. Over turkey clubs, I laid out the weird numbered days I'd seen in Melinda's planner, counting up to the 15th with a big circle. Lena chewed on it, grinned, and said, sounds like she's charting her cycle, 15th might be peak baby-making day. My jaw dropped. Melinda wasn't supposed to ditch the pill till February, why track it now? Was it for somebody else? My gut twisted, but I'd learned not to leap without proof. Told myself to chill and dig deeper later. By 6 p.m., I'd sealed all 3 cases and had a lead on Melinda's notes. Drove home, pumped to take her to the Triad Dynamics party and maybe loosen her up. Pulled in by 6:30, parking in the driveway since we'd be out soon. Strolled to grab the mail and headed for the door. Hadn't checked the garage, so I wasn't sure if she was around. As I fumbled with my keys, I clocked the hall light on. Peering through the side window, I saw Melinda gliding down the stairs, buck naked, towel in one hand, shaving cream in the other. I ducked back, not wanting to spook her. She wandered into the living room, stood by the couch, looking like she'd blanked on her next move. Couldn't peel my eyes off her, she was a damn knockout, but I had to bounce before she spotted me. Decided to roll through the garage so she'd hear me coming. Yanked myself away, hopped in the car, hit the opener, parked, and let it rumble shut. Stepped inside, hollering, Melinda, I'm home. Thought I caught a door clicking upstairs. Hit the bedroom, called again, and she piped up, you're back early. I'm fixing up in the bathroom, use the guest one, huh? Something felt off, so I ignored her and pushed the door open. There she was, perched on the tub's edge, scrambling to cover up as she prepped to shave down there. It was gonna be a surprise, she said, flashing a shaky grin. For who? I shot back, sharp. You, dummy, she blurted fast. Thought it'd spice things up after the party. I wasn't buying it. Never said I wanted you smooth, where'd this come from? She fumbled, I just figured it'd be fun, you know? Lots of gals do it, thought you might dig it. Should have asked me first, I grumbled, annoyed. She went quiet, then said, it's my call, if I want to shave, I will. It'll grow back if we hate it. Fair point, but I wasn't letting it slide. Hold off, I said, firm. We'll talk later. You can do it tomorrow if you're dead set. Her face wasn't just mad, it was spooked, which threw me. Why the fear? I'm ready now, why wait, she pushed, defiant. Because I'm asking you to, I said, locking eyes. I don't like it bare down there, why's this gotta happen tonight? It's my body, I'll shave if I damn well please, she fired back, heat rising. Fine, I said, ice cold. Shave it, and you're flying solo to the party. Keep it, and we go together. Up to you. She froze, stunned. What? That's not fair, it's just something I want to try. I don't think you're straight with me, I said, standing my ground. You know I like the hair, so this ain't for me. No truth, no talk. Shave and go alone, or leave it and we're good. She glared, set the razor down, and stormed to the shower. I cleaned up after, threw on my robe, and kicked back while she got ready in silence. She was pissed, I could tell, but I kept my mouth shut, watching her slide into sheer black thigh-highs and a tight cocktail dress. She looked hotter than a summer night, but I couldn't shake the nag. Was this for me or somebody else? By 8 o'clock, I glanced at Melinda. Ready to roll? Yeah, she said, voice flat as ice. You're looking killer tonight, I tossed out, hoping to thaw her a bit. Gonna turn some heads, mine, I hope? She flicked a look over her shoulder as she headed out. Yours, maybe, she said, leaving me wondering if she meant to warm me up or torch me. The drive was dead quiet for the first 15 minutes till she broke it. Sorry about that shaving mess, I was just on edge about tonight and lost it. No sweat, I replied. Let's just have a good time at this thing. The party was at Triad Dynamics' slick office space in Charlotte. We'd barely walked in when Trent Carver swooped over, yanked Melinda aside, and started yapping. I kept my eyes peeled, trying to decode their vibe. It looked stiff at first, but then Trent cracked a grin, and Melinda gave a grudging nod. When she came back, I prodded, what did he want? Apex Meds deal's locking in tonight, she said. Got a 10:30 sit-down with Trent and Victor. If it clicks, the contract's ours. So, promotions in the bag? I asked, pumping some cheer into it. If it all pans out, she mumbled, barely jazzed. She should have been stoked, but her flat tone threw me. Then we can start on that family, right? I pushed, testing her. Yeah, we'll get there, she said, voice hollow. I wanted to grab her shoulders and shake out whatever was eating her, but I held back, something was brewing. And I had to play it smart. As we stepped into the party, Melinda hooked her arm through mine and leaned in tight. The room was decked out, tables lining the walls, a band jamming, a dance floor buzzing, and a buffet with free-flowing drinks. I scanned the crowd, clocking familiar faces. Didn't take long to spot him, a guy by the bar, mid-30s, 6 feet, ripped, rocking a sharp gray suit. I nudged Melinda. Who's the dude by the drinks? No clue, she said, too smooth, her posture stiffening. Liar. Let's grab something to sip, I suggested. I gotta say hey to some work folks, grab us drinks, she dodged, eyes darting away. I hit the bar, snagged her a Pinot Noir and me a lager, then spun to the suit. Mr. Caldwell, how's it going? He blinked, caught off guard. How do you know me? It's what I do, I said coolly. Gotta run this wine to my wife, but let's chat later. He nodded, edgy but game. I handed Melinda her glass, said I'd be back after mingling. She looked spooked but didn't stop me. When her back was turned, I circled back to Caldwell. I'm with Triad Security, I bluffed. Just keeping things tight. Trent's got some wild stuff lined up, huh? That's the word, he smirked, loosening up. Waiting for the 10:30 fireworks. You're in the loop, eh? Part of the gig, I said, then grinned sleazy. Bet you're into brunettes. Oh, yeah, long hair's my thing, he chuckled. Like Mrs. Harmon, right? I baited, stomach churning. Spot on, he laughed. I pushed harder. Probably like him smooth downstairs too, huh? Bear's the best, he cackled. That did it, I had my ammo. Got a patrol, if you need me, holler, I said, stalking off, muttering curses under my breath. Back across the room, some guy asked Melinda to dance. She brushed him off and tugged me onto the floor instead. As we swayed, I kept Caldwell in my sights, making sure he didn't peg me as her husband. It was 9:45, and my gut was a tangle of nerves as the pieces clicked. Song ended, I aimed for our table, but Melinda yanked me back for a slow tune. She clung to me tighter than usual, almost too much. I caught Caldwell eyeballing us, looking twitchy. I flashed him a grin and a thumbs up, then tried to tune him out. Was dancing with her tipping him off? Didn't care anymore. Post-dance, we hit the table. Victor Ramsey strolled up, slipped Melinda a little package, whispered something, and bailed. She stashed it behind her back and said, "Bathroom break." I stared at her, feeling sick. "Don't," I said, hard. "Don't what?" She played dumb. "You know damn well," I growled, grabbing her arm, eyes boring into hers. "I'm not an idiot, cut it out." She jerked free, swearing it was just a bathroom run, and marched off without a glance. While she was gone, it all fell into place. Started when she dropped Trent like they were pals, while Victor stayed Mr. Ramsey. Then the gloom, claiming Apex Meds was her fault if it tanked, yet she swore she was clean. All those meetings with Victor, Trent, and the client, tracking her cycle while still on the pill, that shaving fight that wasn't for me, it didn't add up. What she didn't know, earlier, I'd caught her bare in the living room, Trent's hand on her, lips brushing hers. I didn't storm in, hit the garage opener instead, giving them a beat to scatter. Trent slipped out. My guess? Caldwell demanded she shave for him, part of some sick deal, with Trent and Victor in on it. That package? Shaving gear, no doubt. She was in the bathroom now, prepping for him. It was 10 o'clock, she wasn't back, and I was a coiled spring. No plan, just instinct, find her, drag her out, damn the fallout. Headed for the exit, but the band called a break, and a light bulb popped. Spotted Caldwell, Victor, and Trent huddled by the bar, perfect crowd for what was brewing. I strolled over to the band, tapped the lead singer on the shoulder. Mind leaving the mic hot? Got some stuff to say. Go for it, he said, handing me the wireless rig. It's live. I paced a beat, sorting my head, then flipped it on. Hey, everybody, can I get your eyes up here? The chatter died down slowly, and I caught Melinda slipping back from the bathroom. Caldwell, Victor, and Trent were all staring, intrigued. Thanks, I went on. Just want to steal a sec at this big shindig to drop some updates about me and my amazing wife, Melinda. I shot her a look, she was inching toward me, panic in her eyes. First off, awesome news, we're expecting a kid. The room clapped, and Melinda slapped a hand over her face, probably looking shy to anyone who didn't know the real deal. Trent's glare could have burned holes, Victor looked lost, and Caldwell was a blank slate. And more good stuff, I pushed. Melinda's snagging a promotion tonight for nailing the Apex Meds deal. She's got a 10 o'clock powwow upstairs with Mr. Ramsey, Mr. Carver, and Mr. Caldwell to seal it. Pretty cool, right? More applause, but Melinda whispered, "Oh God, stop," and sank to the floor, trembling. I didn't let up. When I got home tonight, I caught her in the bathroom primping, shaving, and not her legs, if you catch my drift. A few awkward chuckles rippled, but mostly silence. Melinda was sprawled out, sobbing now, folks gaping in shock. Caldwell had vanished, Trent's face was a furnace, and Victor was storming my way, itching to shut me down. She was shaving 'cause she was tonight's prize for Mr. Caldwell. He likes 'em smooth, I said. The crowd froze. Victor lunged for the mic, I jerked it back. Try that again, and you're eating the floor, I warned. Flipped it back on. One more thing for Ramsey and Carver, I'm suing Triad Dynamics for torching my marriage. I'll win, and your jobs are toast. Night, folks, enjoy the party. Dead quiet as I dropped the mic and walked to Melinda, still a mess on the floor, tears streaming. Melinda, I muttered. She looked up, eyes red. Nate, don't, I cut her off. Think that promotion's still coming? I stood, scanned the room, people stared, then flicked their eyes away when I met him. Gave her one last glance and bolted. Crossing the lobby, Trent blocked me. You got any idea what you just did? He barked. Yeah, I said. Screwed you and Triad before you could finish screwing my wife. Hope it costs you a fortune, not just pocket change. You'll regret this, he snarled. Nah, you will, I fired back. I'm chatting with the SEC about your dirty tricks. As I turned, he grabbed my arm. We ain't done. I shook him off. Touch me again, and you're crawling out of here. He mumbled crap as I walked out. Got home, snagged a bottle of bourbon, and started pouring. Second glass in, I spotted something green peeking from a fern, a plastic case that had tumbled from the trash earlier that week. Popped it open, full, nothing gone. Set it on the table and kept drinking till I blacked out on the couch. Woke up Saturday around 10 a.m., head hammering, mouth like a dumpster. Coffee and eggs helped, then I showered. No sign of Melinda, not like I thought she'd show. Either too scared to face me or pissed I'd tanked her gig at Triad. Didn't know if I gave a damn. Plopped on the couch, mulling what's next. Stung like hell realizing how deep I'd been into her and how she'd stabbed us in the back. Forgiving her? Doubt it. But I'd hear her out if she came clean, her call. I wasn't chasing her down for excuses. If she didn't want to talk, I didn't need it. Wondered where she crashed last night, felt a pang for ditching her at the party. Should have hauled her home, but back then, the hurt and rage were too loud to care. The phone jolted me at 11:30. Figured it was Melinda, so I let it ring 5 times, debating, before snagging it. Yeah? I grunted. Mr. Harmon, a voice asked. That's me, I said. This is Special Agent Travis Logan with the FBI. Is your wife around? Nope, I replied, thrown off by the FBI bit. Actually, I need to talk to you, he said. Me? About what? I asked, brain scrambling. Better in person. Can you swing by my office this afternoon? I said sure, got the address for a 2:30 p.m. meet, and hung up. Sat there wondering what the feds wanted with me. Maybe tied to a case I'd closed, but why the cloak and dagger? I'd dealt with cops plenty for work, never fazed me, but this had my nerves twitching. By 1 o'clock, I threw on jeans and a pullover, drove into Charlotte, and parked near the FBI building downtown. Gave my name to the front desk gal. Here for Agent Logan. Take a seat, she said. 3 minutes later, Logan strolled out, none of that slick suit from the party, just khakis and a polo. Mr. Harmon, thanks for coming, he said. This way. We hit a conference room, and he poured us coffee, settling across from me. Call you Agent Logan or Mr. Caldwell? I asked, smirking. Travis works, he said. Can I call you Nate? Yeah, Nate's good, I nodded. You're probably spinning right now, he said. Little bit, but it's clicking, I admitted. You were undercover as Caldwell, right? Bingo, he confirmed. What we talk about stays here, yeah? I get tight lips, I said, still foggy on his angle. Hoping you'll clue me in on how Melinda got tangled up. I'll give you what I can without blowing the case, Travis said. I know you're pissed, this mess has probably wrecked your marriage. I gave a tight nod, frustration simmering. Might have killed it dead. Could be less grim than you think, he offered, leaning in. Here's the rundown. He paced as he talked. Back in spring, the SEC tipped us off about shady moves at Triad Dynamics. We dug in, decided I'd go undercover. Apex Meds was negotiating a merger with Triad, and their prez, Real Caldwell, flagged some sketchy tactics. Since no one at Triad knew him, I stepped in as Caldwell and started wheeling and dealing. So you faked it as him, I said. Exactly, Travis nodded. Made Trent and Victor think I was on the fence, could bail any section. Got him antsy. But why drag Melinda into it? I asked, gut tightening. Not quite how it went, he said. First time I met Victor and Trent at Triad, they brought her in. I said I wanted to grill her on the merger numbers. Why her? I pressed, bracing myself. She was the one who snitched, he dropped. Melinda tipped off the SEC about Triad's dirty plays. I blinked, floored. She blew the whistle? Yeah, but didn't know I was FBI, Travis said. Her tip pointed at Victor, Trent, even the company press. Couldn't fully trust her, so I kept her in the dark about me being Caldwell. Was she really gonna hook up with you at the party? I asked, stomach lurching. Don't think so, he said, shaking his head. Can't swear to it, though. When I hinted at ditching the deal, Trent asked what'd seal it. Then he threw it out there. My hands balled up. He offered her. Yeah, Travis nodded. Said, noticed you eyeing Melinda Harmon, pretty hot, huh? How'd you like a piece? I was stunned. Expected cash, not that. Played along to test their limit, said I might bite but didn't lock it in. That bastard, I growled, heat rising. Yup, Travis agreed. Trent got all hyped, felt like he wanted it to happen beyond just a deal. Even pitched me meeting her at the Christmas party. I felt queasy. You were gonna go through with it? Hell no, he shot back. 1, it's wrong. 2, I figured they'd rigged the room with cameras and mics, not just a favor, but blackmail bait. How'd you plan to dodge it? I asked, hooked. Was gonna pull out at the last minute, he said. Say the vibe wasn't right, tell her to hit my hotel later. Alone, I'd flash my badge, bring her in for a statement. Plan was to nab Victor and Trent today, I thought we had enough. I leaned back, relief and rage slugging it out. Then I torched it with my big mouth, huh? Nah, Travis said, cracking a grin. You saved me. Skipped that meeting with Trent last night, kept my cover. This morning, he dangled a fat cash bribe to sign. Told him I'd bite Monday, when he hands it over, we'll cuff him. Triad's getting gutted as we comb every deal from the last 3 years. I shook my head, still reeling. Crazy. I stared at Travis. Still don't get where Melinda lands in this mess. She was trying to do right, tipping off the SEC about Triad, he said. But that offer? I think Trent was strong-arming her, maybe blackmail. They mention a rubber? I asked, gut churning again. Yeah, Travis nodded. Trent laughed, said she insisted I use one, wouldn't want to knock her up, right? I slumped back, exhaling hard. I gotta track her down, hear her take. She's not clean, but sounds like there's more andwich. That's all I can give you now, Travis said. Questions? Not yet, I said. Just don't spill about the investigation till we nab Victor and Trent, few days. We'll need her statement then, and probably yours too. I nodded, promising to zip it. He'd call when I could talk to Melinda about the sting. We shook hands, and I split. Got home, found a voicemail from Melinda begging me to call. Dialed her number, some lady picked up. Who's this? She asked. Her husband, I said. Melinda came on, voice shaky. Where have you been? I've been calling all day. Not all day, I shot back. Was here till 1:30. Oh, guess I started then, she mumbled. I wasn't gonna make it easy, she'd have to step up. Stayed quiet. Nate, can I come home? She asked. It's your house too, should be here, I said. Hour from now, she replied. I hung up. It was 6 o'clock. Decided to whip up dinner so we could hash it out after. Started cooking, then ducked upstairs to steel myself for the talk. Back down, I snagged that green case off the coffee table, stuffed it in my pocket. Made spaghetti and meatballs, tossed a salad, cracked a bottle of Merlot. Melinda walked in at 6:45, and the spread was ready. Seeing it eased some of her tension, like maybe this wasn't the end. We sat, ate, poured wine, all in brutal silence. Few bites in, I broke it. Where'd you crash last night? A friend took me home after you bailed, she said. Didn't stick around for the party's encore? Your speech kinda killed it, she replied. Guess I owe some folks an apology, not you, and sure as hell not Victor or Trent. No, I owe you one, she said, starting to spill, but I cut her off. After dinner, I said. We clammed up again, nothing else to say till the plates were clear. She started on the dishes, but I stopped her. Later. We are talking now. Moved to the living room, sat facing off. You want to lay it all out, or should I start digging? Either way, I want the truth. I'll tell you, she said. Bet you've pinned when it kicked off, day after your party. Trent called me. Said the Apex Meds deal was tanking, and Caldwell wouldn't sign unless I slept with him. I was livid, couldn't believe he'd even ask. But he kept saying it was huge for Triad, promised me a fat stack and a promotion if I said yes. I didn't wanna, but he wouldn't let up, said tons of folks were counting on me. I told him I'd think about it. I was so messed up, I couldn't think straight. When you got home, I knew I couldn't do it. But Monday, Trent and Victor were on me all day, pushing. Trent said if it flopped, it'd be my fault, I'd be out. Threatened to fire me if I blabbed. I tried dropping hints to you, but if you knew the whole deal, you'd flip, and I'd lose everything. Tuesday, I said no way. They told me to rethink it. Then Trent dropped that Triad was missing over $120,000, said an audit would pin it on me, years of stealing. Trent swore I'd go down unless I played ball. Cooperate, and I'd get the cash and the title. Refuse, and they'd audit me into jail. Had no choice but to cave. They hounded me daily, swearing I was doing right, that you'd get it if you knew how big this was. She paused. I'd been quiet, but now I was boiling. You really think I'd have been cool with this? I snapped. You should have spilled it all, I'd have dug us out. Melinda's voice quivered. I know. Once I said yes, I felt a little lighter, but the guilt of screwing you over ate me alive. You've got to get it, I was scared stiff of prison. Had to roll the dice. My patience was fraying. Then Friday, Trent hauled me into his office. Said Caldwell wanted me bear down there before the party. I balked, but he swore it'd kill the deal if I didn't. Told me to shave before we went, keep it hush till later. If you flipped, I'd just apologize and let it grow back. Trouble was, you walked in early and caught me prepping. So I was right, you shaved in the ladies' room? I asked, eyes narrowing. She stared at her hands. Yeah, she whispered. Victor sent someone for a razor and cream. I did it there. When I came back, you were grabbing the mic, and I was freaking, had no clue what you'd say or how to stop you. When you mentioned a baby, I was floored. Didn't say you were pregnant, I corrected. Said we were gonna have one. You weren't yet, but that was the plan, right? Yeah, she stumbled, but what? I pressed, voice sharp. Are we starting a family or not? We are, she said soft. I'll ditch the pills tomorrow. One more thing, I said, choking back a storm. Did you tell Caldwell he had to wrap it up? Trent said he'd make sure he did, she replied. Good thing, I was too scrambled to think straight. Your speech tanked my Triad gig and probably axed the Apex deal, she added, bitter. Let's line this up, I said. Victor and Trent strong-armed you into sleeping with Caldwell for the deal, pushed you to shave for him, and I blew it up by catching you. Even after I said no, you shaved anyway. Only reason it didn't happen was my mic stunt. That it? Yeah, she murmured, but I don't blame you, I get why you did it. Oh, swell, I said, dripping sarcasm. You forgive me for keeping my wife from banging another guy? Not what I meant, she rushed. You had every right to flip. I've got no business being mad, I hate myself for not telling you from the jump. Can you ever forgive me? Depends, I said, feeling the weight. That everything? You holding anything back? No, that's it, she said, tears pooling. I love you, losing you over this mess would gut me. Ain't as bleak as it looked at first, I said, catching a flicker of hope on her face. But I've got more to ask before we move on. Okay, what? She said, voice lifting. I fished the green case from my pocket, tossed it on the coffee table. Found this in the trash last week, full. You ditched your pills, didn't tell me, and let me think you were still on M. 5 minutes ago, you said you'd stop tomorrow. Explain. She looked slapped, mouth flapping before words came. You're right, I stopped, she admitted. Wanted to surprise you with a baby. Knew how bad you wanted a family, thought it'd be sweet. That only works if we're getting it on, I said, ice cold. Last time was the day before you quit M. I was so torn up over what Victor and Trent wanted, I couldn't get in the mood, she shot back quick. You know last night was your peak fertile day? I asked, catching her off guard. No, didn't clock it, she stammered. Too much spinning in my head. Funny, I pressed, you were set to hook up with Caldwell right in your cycle's sweet spot, no rubber on your mind, but Trent insisted. What's that say? You think I knew and was okay risking it? She gasped, panic spiking. I'd never. She was rattled, and I was done playing. One last thing, I said, staring her down. How long you been sleeping with Trent? Her face drained white. What? No more bull, I said, firm. You tracked your cycle, marked last night in your planner. Trent told Caldwell to glove up, since I wasn't with you, that leaves him. He wanted you knocked up, didn't he? Tears spilled, no answer. Wasn't Caldwell who wanted you shaved, it was Trent, I said, voice like steel. You did it for him, even after I said no. Shows he's got more pull than me. I let it hang. Last night, I stood at the door, saw you naked in the living room. Watch Trent slide his hands down your back, kiss your belly, like a guy claiming what's his, or about to be. You think I'd buy it for me, or were you just gonna ditch me? Her sobs kicked up as I stood, grabbing my suitcase from the kitchen. She gaped, stunned. "No, please don't go." Melinda bolted toward me, tears streaming. "I love you, Nate." "I don't love Trent, he forced me into it, I had no way out." "Why not just keep popping your pills and fake it for him?" I shot back, venom in my tone. "Lying to me came easy, guess I'd buy anything you fed that snake over what you've been spinning lately." I hit the door, then spun back. "Oh, last night, when I saw you with Trent. Heard you whisper I love you to him. Where's that leave me?" "I don't love him," she cried. "If I'm pregnant, I'll end it, I love you, please, you've gotta believe me." "No, I don't," I said, ice cold. "And the kid? Don't ditch it for me." She crumpled to the floor, sobs shaking her, looking just like she did at the party, shattered. Glancing back from the garage, I felt nothing but revulsion, no trace of love left. Hated walking out on the house we'd busted our asses for, but it held no warm vibes. Lucky we hadn't been there long enough to root any. It's been over 3 years since I split. Found a furnished spot in Charlotte, tried piecing myself back together. That's when the nightmares kicked in. Job wasn't cutting it anymore, so I quit, hauled out to Oregon, and set up my own insurance investigation outfit. Rang up Derek Vance, asked if he'd jump in. 2 months later, he rolled up. He said Lena Torres, a mutual buddy, heard about our gig and wanted to know if we had room. She moved out 9 months back, and 3 months after that, we started going out. 4 months in, we shacked up. Blew me away how fast I could feel something real again. Wasn't rushing to tie the knot, but having someone I gave a damn about to share the days? That clicked. Through some old contacts, like Special Agent Travis Logan, I kept tabs on folks back east. Turns out Melinda ratted out Triad's pres and CEO, following Trent's playbook. He wanted them canned for their dirty deals so he could slide into the top spot. Guess she wasn't lying about not loving him, she was gaming him, knowing he was hooked. Figured if he scored big, she'd cash in too. Trent and his wife had no kids, he blamed her. After I bailed, he spent over a month trying to knock Melinda up. Didn't work, she wasn't the issue, he was shooting blanks. His wife sniffed out the affair, dumped him a month later. Trent spent 6 years in federal lockup for his Triad stunts. Victor got 3 in a cushy joint. Melinda got the boot from Triad, the company got a facelift and was swallowed by a bigger firm. Last I heard, she's teaching accounting at a community college near Boise, Idaho. I try not to dwell on her, scars are still raw, no good memories to cling to. Don't miss her, and that's fine, Lena's more than filled the hole she left. That's why I put a ring on it. Now here I am, staring down at Lena, wondering if I should nudge her awake. Not to spill about the nightmare creeping back, but to say I love her. Last night, she grinned and said, "Whenever you're ready for a kid, just say so, but order early, it takes 9 months to ship." Cracked me up. Thinking I'll place that order tomorrow.